Good morning, everybody. Tyler Sloan here in beautiful Orlando, where it's another beautiful day out. Coming at you with my fifth vlog, numero cinco. Today, the main topic I want to speak on is abundance versus scarcity and the two different mindsets, how they've applied to my life and how they've affected my life through some examples. And hopefully you can come across knowing a little bit more about the two mindsets, being more aware of it, because awareness is key. Awareness is transformational. So hopefully you can become aware of the two different mindsets and be able to apply abundance in your life as opposed to scarcity. But anyways, before that, quick rundown of my week, because that's what I said I'd do. I had a good week, more productive personally than it was professionally, but it was a good balance of both. I got to spend a lot of time with friends this week, and got to see a friend I haven't seen in a while, and spent some time with him, which was amazing, and it was great. And it brought a lot of my other friends together too, which is also a good thing. Anytime you bring people together, I feel like that's a good thing. So it's been a great week. So on to abundance versus scarcity. First off, abundance. What is it? What mentality is it? It's really just the belief that there's plenty in the world for everyone, whether that's financially, professionally, relationships, love. There's just plenty to go around. So that's like an abundant mentality. And then you got the scarcity mentality, which is a fear-based mentality, which is a very significant part of it. But it's the mindset that there's not enough for everybody, and that what you get you have to protect, and you want to keep it to yourself and not share it with others, because you're afraid that you're going to lose it, which is fear. How that kind of applies is like the fear of change, the fear of failure, a big one. And it just keeps you from taking chances and really truly living to the best of your abilities, because you're too worried about not losing things. I think a great example of this, probably just because I've watched a lot of sports and I played a lot of sports in my day, but you see it all the time, or I see it all the time. Maybe it's just my perception, but you see the team that gets up big in the beginning of the game, and a lot of times you can tell like they get complacent. They start playing not to lose rather than playing to win, and then slowly you see this other team still got the fire, catch back up to them, make it a brand new ball game. And then almost always when that happens, the team that was initially losing ends up coming back to win. And I think it's because the team that initially was winning developed a scarcity mentality. They start being protective of what they have, rather than going out and get after their goals and getting what they came to do in the first place. It kind of like switched up their mentality, and I think it takes a toll. And I think sports kind of shows that, I believe. But let me know if you believe that too, or if you think it's a good example or not. I'd love to hear your feedback. Anyway, so that's like a little example of that. And it's really just scarcity is playing not to lose rather than playing to win, and abundance is playing to win, going after it and achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. And so how it applies to my life, when I first read The Magic of Thinking Big back when I was like 25, that's when I started developing an abundance mentality. That's what that book's all about, in hindsight. Started connecting those dots recently, but so I started living abundantly, and I started setting lofty goals, and I was able to achieve some of my financial goals, which was great. And I actually was living abundantly. I was able to attract some love into my life that was really great for my relationship, and it was good. And I was really focused on growing both of those things at that time. And that was some great examples of abundance in my life, and how it affected my life. But at a certain point, probably when I separated with my prior W-2 job, I think I started just slowly but surely developing a scarcity mentality, because I didn't have that steady income coming in. So I started thinking about, I started gearing my mindset towards how I wasn't going to lose what I had gained financially, as opposed to focusing on growing it. So that's when I think scarcity started creeping back into my life, slowly but surely. And then throughout traveling, I was focusing on my budget more than I should have been. I should have just been out there experiencing life and not worried about it, because at the end of the day, it wasn't going to make or break me. But I thought about it too much, and there was even times like in Nepal and India where I caught myself negotiating and bargaining at stands over like a couple hundred rupees, which if you don't know, I think 100 rupees is $1.50, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'd be bargaining and negotiating over like small amounts of money that aren't going to affect me at all, but it had an effect on them, and like I'd catch myself after the fact. Um, that I was bargaining, which I like bargaining, and it's kind of like in my blood, I guess. I'm a negotiator. It's kind of, I like doing that. I mean, that's part of being a realtor as well. So I'm not gonna hate on that. But I think I did develop a little bit of a scarcity mentality while I was traveling, and I let that like creep in my mind too much. And that's all based on like protecting what I had already earned rather than just going out and living abundantly. Then when I got back, I think it's really when it took a toll. I started like thinking about all the different ways I could lower my overhead. I even like sold my car and got a scooter, which saved me a few grand. And also the scooter was like 100 miles a gallon, so I like didn't have to pay hardly any gas money. You go wherever I wanted. I was living with my parents. So I didn't have that overhead either. And I was just like really focused on eliminating that overhead as opposed to what I should have been doing, which is immediately like start my career, start taking the next jump to start earning more income and figuring out how I could grow my net worth as opposed to just protect it. So that was a scarcity mentality I had, and it comes back to it, like the fear of change and the fear of failure. Two scarcity mentalities. I was scared that if I took a chance at being a realtor and I failed, that would be like the end of the world, which I know now that it's not. And as long as I give it 100%, I don't have to worry about that fear of failure at all, because I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm going to take the chances that I need to take to make it happen. And then the fear of change, it's a totally different job. I've never been commission based in my entire life, and I've never had to wait months before getting a paycheck for work that I've already done. And it just prevented me from taking action, which is all those things are scarcity mentalities, and perfect examples of how scarcity was running my life at that point. And then also in regards to relationships, when I got back, or like at a certain point, I don't know, it's probably been going on for a while as far as that goes, but at a certain point, I started to play not to lose rather than playing to win or to grow or to take it to the next step, to next level of my life, and that took took a toll on our relationship, obviously, and it wasn't good. And I think it was a big part of our downfalls was having that mindset and just being like trying not to lose her rather than just focusing on growing our love and our relationship and all that. So I think that really took a negative toll on me in our relationship as well. But so it's been a blessing. This bold's been a blessing, and it's really been redeveloping that growth mindset that I had kind of let fade away. But the beauty of that is I believe it's kind of like muscle memory. Like since I've already know that mentality, I know how to be in that mentality. Once I just started re-gearing myself towards abundance, I feel like it's just really picking up momentum very quickly, and I feel like I'll be back on track in no time. And I'm already mentally getting back on track as well. And that kind of ties into the affirmations and self-talk, which I wanted to kind of get in on this, but I know I'm kind of taking it a little bit long this time, so I'm going to cut it short. But so hopefully you can take away something from that. And if you're living in scarcity, I really implore you to look into abundance and YouTube some videos. So there's probably plenty of people out there that can explain it better than I. But I encourage you to look into it and keep an open mind and be receptive to the ideas of abundance, and see if you can go out there and just give as much love as possible, give as much information as possible, and much service to people as possible. And I believe that if you do that, it's going to come back to you. Your money flows in the direction. I mean, you can only get as much as you give. That's what I want to getting at. So go out there and give, and I believe you'll get it back in return. And have a great rest of your week and a happy Monday. And I will get back to you guys next week. Thanks for listening this long, and hope you have a great day. See ya.